Real quick, I was recording this video, and when I started editing it, I got a message from TubeBuddy and said, hey, you reached 1 million views. Shout out to each and every one of you guys. Y'all the real MVPs for getting me to 1 million views in about a year and a half, a little less. Y'all the real MVPs, and let's get to the video. Wow, Phillip Rivers finally decides to hang it up. Shout out to him. I'll never forget the AFC Championship you played against Tom Brady in 07 with a torn ACL. You were tough, but let's talk about the Colts now. They got a team that's built to win right now. Will they decide to try to call us, yo, is Wentz on the market? What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you are new to the channel and love talking Philly sports every single day, we'll go right ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't done it already, make sure you turn on post notifications so you know when I go live or drop some content. On that note, if you are ready to get the head coach, get the staff in here so we can start talking about free agency, the draft, and things about that sort, smash the like button. I know we need to get the right candidate, but my goodness. With all that being said, let's get into today's topic, which is not about the coaching for once. So, we know that Carson Wentz has had a bad year. We end up having to put Jalen Hurts in for the last 4 games. The Eagles won 4 games this season. It was a very bad season for Carson Wentz, for Doug Peterson, for the offensive line, for everybody. We all had a part in why we only won 4 games. But Carson Wentz did struggle at an all-time high in 2020. His worst statistical year ever. You seen it on the field. You kind of heard it off the field. There was no answer in the coaching staff or even in Carson's head for why he was struggling this bad. Now, no Doug Peterson. All these stories coming out, we really don't know what to believe, but there is one thing that you can believe. Doug and Carson was not working anymore. Was that the only thing? We don't know. We got to find out. He's our $100 million quarterback, so we got to cross our T's, dot our I's, make sure we exhaust all options before we do something rash. As we sit right now, we got the struggling Carson Wentz and a guy in Jalen Hurts who had some upside, had some downside, finished the season 1-3, but had some of the same things we saw, turnovers and not being able to move the ball. And we can maybe pinpoint that at Doug Peterson because he struggled with Carson, he struggled with Jalen, even though Jalen being a rookie has more excuses to struggle rather than Carson Wentz. But at the end of the day, bad play calling, bad supporting cast. You saw that in the end results for both quarterbacks. So, this video is about, will the Eagles think about moving on from Carson Wentz? And it's hard to say. Right now, Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie look as if they want to fix Carson Wentz. They invested $100 million in him. They still believe in him. And they want to make sure we can get a guy in here who will at least attempt to fix Carson Wentz. Now, head coach search is going all over the place, and I didn't want to bring it up, but it also depends on who we bring in here. Does a guy want Carson? Does a guy want Jalen? Does a guy want to go a different route? I don't know. Is he going to have say in it, or is it just Jeff Lurie and Howie Roseman say? If it is, it's probably Carson. But with that being said, what if Frank Reich got on the phone and said, Jeff Lurie, Howie Roseman, I got a deal for you. I really want Carson because I could work with him and we are in win now mode. We got a team that could win now. We're just a quarterback of away. So let's talk about it on the Colts side and then get back to the Eagles side. The Colts went 11-5 in 2020 and lost to the Buffalo Bills in the wild card round in a close game. I mean, the Colts had every opportunity to win that game and they end up losing on a Hail Mary that wasn't completed, and that was that. The season was over, and they thought that Rivers might give him one more year because he didn't play that bad, but he ended up retiring. Once again, shout out to you, Phillip Rivers, for just hanging in there. I know it's hard to do what Breeze and Brady did, but shout out to you. But let's look at it on their side. Let's go over what Phillip Rivers did this year. Let's go over what Jacoby Brissett did in 17 and 19, his 2 starts. And let's talk about Carson's best year and what some people think was such a down year, 2019, before we talk about 2020. Bring the stats. Let's start with Jacoby Brissett. His first start was in 2017. He played 16 games. The team went 4-11. He was young. He had a 58.8 completion percentage, 3,098 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. 2019, he played 15 games, went 7-8, a 60.9 completion percentage, 2,942 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Let's look at Carson Wentz. We'll start with the 2017 Frank Reich year. He went 11-2. He played 13 games, 60.2% completion percentage, 3,296 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. 2019, where a lot of people think it was a down year. He played all 16 games. We only went 9-7, but we had a lot of injuries again too. 63.9 completion percentage, 4,039 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. So he wasn't a turnover machine. And then here's the horrible year, 2020. 12 games he played, 3-8-1 record, 57.4 completion percentage, 2,620 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. Let's look at Phillip Rivers in 2020. He played 16 games. They went 11-5. He had a 68.0% completion percentage, 4,169 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Not too shabby. Well, there you go. And before you say, well, how do we know the Colts can afford him? Look right here. This is over the cap, and the Colts are the third highest cap space in the NFL. They got a little bit over $65 million. If you want me to be exact, if you can read it over there, it's $65,131,114, which, like I said, is third most. For some context, look who's in last and second to last. The Eagles are second to last with $52 million over the cap. And look at the Saints. I feel bad. No Drew Brees, not many picks, and they're $96 million over the cap. We thought we were bad. They might be rebuilding very soon. But let's get back to the Colts. Now, maybe they want to go with Jacoby Brissett, but why would they want to waste a top 5 defense, a top 5 offensive line in their prime before they go over the cap with Jacoby Brissett, who's average? To me, I still believe in Carson Wentz. Can he survive in Philly? I don't know. Would he have ever been able to survive with Doug Peterson? Probably not. There was too much toxic between Peterson, Carson, and maybe even Howie Roseman. And I'm not just saying Carson Wentz is perfect. He probably is a brat. He probably has to look in the mirror and say, I got to hold myself accountable. I can't keep thinking I'm better than everyone else. Maybe he needs to do that. Maybe he needs a fresh page to do that. I don't know. But what I do know is if you put talent around this guy and you get his mind right, he still has all the physical traits to be a good quarterback. He misses some people, but he makes miraculous plays, and he just got to stay out of his head. And with that supporting cast, top 5 offensive line, top 5 defense, T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor behind him, I mean, he will succeed. Frank Reich's going to have to work with him because he does have mechanic problems. And again, he has to look in the mirror. And I'm not saying he's fully done in Philly. We're going to have a lot of time to talk about Carson Wentz versus Jalen Hurts and what we're going to do. Today, we're only talking about this because Rivers retired and we got some time. But we won't know nothing. And I didn't want to mention this again. But we won't know nothing until we get a head coach in here because maybe he prefers Carson. Maybe he prefers Hurts. Maybe it's just going to be a Jeff Lurie, Howie Roseman decision. We don't know nothing yet. The offseason just starting, but we got a juicy, dramatic, fun-filled, scary-filled offseason coming up for the Philadelphia Eagles. But once again, you get Carson Wentz. I think he can replicate what Phillip Rivers did in 2020 and even do better if you get this guy on track. So again, will he call us? Will he even offer it? And there is other teams across the league that could use Carson Wentz. The 49ers, maybe the Steelers if Big Ben retires. The Saints could if they could afford him, but we saw their 96 over the cap. Even the Chicago Bears, who got a great team minus the quarterback. There's so many teams that can use a quarterback. Now, Dak Prescott being possible free agent if Dallas don't get him could throw a monkey wrench in it. Deshaun Watson wanting out could throw a monkey wrench in it. But right now, Deshaun Watson, who's probably better than Carson Wentz right now, is more expensive than Carson Wentz. And so, I don't know. Frank Reich, Carson Wentz, maybe it can happen. Do you want it to happen as an Eagle fan? Because I do know half the fans want Carson, the other fans don't want Carson, and I'm just for whoever's the best quarterback. And right now, I can't decide who I want, but we're going to have all the time in the world to figure that out. I do believe in Carson's talent, but I also think that there's things you can work with Jalen Hurts and have a successful offense. But again, it comes all the way back to who's the staff, who's the head coach, and what direction are we going in? Is it going to be a 4-year rebuilding period or a 2-year quick retool and try to start fighting again? Which direction are we going? We can't talk about no trades, no pickups, no nothing until we know what direction we're going. So this is only off of speculation because Rivers finally retired. With all that being said, I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section. Would you like Carson to be traded, or do you want to keep Carson? And how do you feel about Rivers retiring? Would it fit there good? Just give me all your thoughts. I love hearing from you guys because you guys are the best. Until next time, you know what time it is. We out.